First of all honor and glory goes to God, Christ Jesus, also known as Yeshua ben Yahweh, unveiling our new directed energy weapon as a high-powered microwave, making the Golden Dome worlds better. This new technology can actually vaporize any threat anywhere in the world at the speed of light.
Happy birthday!
Upon the threat identification from many Space Force satellites, we will immediately seek, find, and then vaporize all threats, whether at any launch, whether it be in flight, mid-flight, or even at initial launch. We can vaporize it with 3 million degrees from one satellite. You stack them up, and that's exponentially larger. It was originally invented for vaporizing asteroids. The entire celestial system is nicknamed the Protecta-Grid Shield, which contains many Power Star, Earth-based Protecta-Grid tarps, and this will upgrade our entire electrical system. Now, our global challenges are war, conflicts, asteroids, energy scarcity, climate change, and America's Protecta-Grid Shield with space-based solar power solutions for peace and sustainability, and making a proof of concept. Now, these are our known national defense threats. Our strategy is our enemies, peace through strength, and America ethos, belief, burden sharing. We all put it together. The ability to stop wars like never before. Since we know there are more than 70,000 nuclear warheads that exist, enough to wipe out the world 1,000 times over, we can stop this better than ever before. And if it should ever happen again. I love this picture because my cousin Bobby's in the back over Trump's left-hand corner. I originally worked on SDI. This is now the new SDI called the Golden Dome. And if we add our Protecta-Grid Shield to it, new technologies, we can do better than ever before. We were going to announce the original Protecta-Grid Shield back on May 20th, but fantastically, Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump did announce it on that exact date. Now, this is the overview of 6 different technologies that are used in the Golden Dome. Now, all of these, none of them contain the satellite celestial system that we are discussing. Now, when we look at what it would take to build the Golden Dome, it's broken into 6 different architectures and the price tags and the maturity levels. You can see them all broken down here. Now, this comes from the American Enterprise Institute, and these are really large numbers. We could do it much cheaper and faster. Now, the biggest threat we know is that China does want to take over Taiwan and all the other neighbors. They do want to take them over. They do want to conquer us. They are the biggest threat we have, which is communism is the biggest threat we have. Thank God for Trump for eliminating this large threat. Of course, Russia and China already has counter space weapon systems already up there, like the robotic arms have disassembled our satellites already up there. And so, I am honored to show you how to fix this global challenge, wars against neighbors and asteroids. This was originally intended for asteroids back in 2015 when Dr. David Hyland, an MIT quantum astrophysicist and a professor at University of Michigan and Texas A&M, had come up with this and invented this system. And we sent it to NASA, and then we put it along to the Advanced Space Systems, which was actually called Advanced Space Systems Command, with Mike Coyote Smith running it at the time. He is now retired. Again, this is just showing how the basic concept, you would not be able to see the beams, okay? It would actually retrodirectively identify where everything is, and it would actually transmit and heat it up and vaporize it. 3 million degrees. When a sun's surface is only 10,000, we mean vaporize, non-existent vaporization. There's the old NASA 1961 Echo system. See the little people down below? Okay, well, when Dr. Hyland had come up with this. He looked at the NASA ecosystem and he did an analysis system on it, and he proved that this thing could be done. So he invented a solar microwave fabric instead of the Mylar, which was the original NASA Echo communication balloon. This one has printed solar cells and printed patch antennas on it with a conversion. This is a flexible conversion system thanks to the Maple, the people over at Caltech. This is a great system. This is what they used, and they actually looked at 32 different type of photovoltaics. Now the benefits that we see here is we could use this both for commercial and the Golden Dome. We can clear out space debris immediately. We can vaporize all space debris so it doesn't interfere with our existing systems up in outer space, or any satellites that are not authorized to be up there, or any threatening satellite system that's up there. We could just vaporize their butt out of existence. So, yes, everything points to Lord Jesus Christ because he had given me this vision personally. And he showed me exactly from outer space exactly what to do. And I have the engineering sciences to do this background, along with many of my team members and teammates. And this is what we need to do. We need to get this operating before Trump leaves office. And this is totally doable. What we've seen already proposed cannot get it done in time, but we know exactly how to do it in time. And yes, they already have a rapid development program already started with the Space Force and the Air Force, one of the first Air Force rapid development programs ever since their creation. And it's because of the threats in space are much larger than most people know about. Thank God for the Space Force, and thank you, Chance Saltzman, for keeping everyone involved, and yes, accelerating the capability delivery to win. We don't have time for perfection, but we have times to do things right. And when you're talking in space, we cannot make mistakes. These are existing satellite systems we already have that have been put up in outer space by the Space Force, and also our American industrial military base that can put this up there. We have many threat identification systems, and they all work for different command systems. I'm giving you an explanation. First, you got to identify whether it's friend or foe, and you have to know which circuitry, which wave frequency they're working on. And then once you identify their friend or foe, then you see if they're a threat and if we have to vaporize them or not. If you don't need to vaporize them, and you move along to the next ones. This is going to be really cool because when we add AI to it to help identify threats, friend or foe, it's really going to be wonderful. So yes, we also have the proliferated warfighter. We have the plans already put out there. A lot of this stuff for warfighting exists already. Now, what we have typically in a Golden Dome like SDI was interceptors. You launch one and we launch one to intercept it, or we launch two to intercept it so it doesn't pass by. That's like the old way of doing things. If we have these directed energy weapons, we can put out a ton of them at the same time. And of course, this is a directed energy weapon system I just shown that China already has. Of course, those work at a lot closer to where they're looking at because of the power requirement for it. Now remember, one of PowerStar satellite, each one of these satellites can put out more than 200 megawatts at a 20% average efficiency. Now, since you'll see in here, I've looked at things that are 30%, so we're cranking up the power even more. Remember, 200 megawatts, we could put out 3 million degrees, which is enough to vaporize vaporize anything, basically. So, and then it's narrowed, so it always has a retro-directive, which means it doesn't have a scattering, and there's nobody that's going to lose their hair from it. So it is very safe, because it only pinpoints exactly what it's going after and to focus on. So this is a basic space-based solar power function system. It was invented over 50 years ago, and it's evolved quite a bit. The one that NASA used was the John Mankin systems, and it was very heavy hardware. And this is the Alpha system right there, which is John Mankin systems. Great system. He uses those great mirrors that we used on the James Webb Space Telescope, very similar to that, and focus it to a conversion system. The difference between his and what we're proposing is everything is contained on the surface. The energy, the creation, the transmission, and the conversion all on a thin film of fabric. Big difference. A lot less hardware and a lot more accurate. Plus, one satellite could be the equivalent of 1,000 or 10,000 satellites, because each patch could be on one satellite, which means one satellite could be equivalent of 1,000 or 10,000 if you want it to be. These are the basic activities that space-based solar power is. Have to create the energy, conversion of photovoltaics, convert the energy, like those conversions we've seen from Caltech, and then retrodirectively transmit it to a base. All the ones that you've seen from just about everyone goes to a separate base collection system. We're not proposing that. We're using our solar microwave fabric that we make the satellites with, and we put that on top of the transformers of our grid system. Okay? So that, and it's bulletproof. So when you have some terrorists come and shoot our transformers to knock out our energy like they do in California all the time, this prevents that from happening. Plus, now that we have that, it's got a Faraday cage, so it always protects the transformers from an EMP, a solar flare, or a corona mass ejection. This actually nuclear hardens our grid system at the same time, allowing a place to receive the transmission from space. It identifies it as a friend. So you knock two out with one stone. You upgrade the existing grid system, and you have a collection system right then and there. You can't get better than that. You can put it on the rooftop of a house or on top of buildings or anything. So anyway, back to decarbonization. What a dumb idea. You won't even have life on Earth if you decarbonate. Let's not get stupid. We let the globalists talk too much. They obviously were trying to destroy America and trying to change us so that way China could take over, and then so we're not going to go the political route. The coolest thing is our new system here is much cheaper to launch, because one launch, you put up one or two satellites, immediately it's a return on investment. Once it gets up there, it inflates or goes into its full shape, and then it starts delivering energy right away. You don't have to build a ton of mirrors together. You don't have to go up there and work on this stuff. It just does it itself automatically. You can't get a better, easier solution. NASA's already proven it since 1960s. So we are keeping it simple. It's all in the surface, stupid. And that's what David and Highland and I really want to let everyone know why it's so important. Now, these green beams, remember, you don't see them. That would be just using them to transmit energy down to Earth. Should it be a threat? Should there be power outages anywhere? Just like wonderful Starlinks can give you communications, this could be the space power up. We can send energy directly down to you. Eventually down to your cell phone, to your house, to your car, to your boat, to everything. So we originally did this back in 2023. We announced it with the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronomics, and we announced how we could actually stop all world wars on Earth by doing this. Nobody can penetrate to America by doing this. Now, this is how we put it on everything. On the rooftops of cars, you could have unlimited range on a Tesla vehicle. Say that you're running low or something, you just ask it to beam it to you. You could park somewhere, or you could do it while driving. But, I'd say just say it's going to need it, and you just ask for it, and you'll find the best way, and it'll just deliver it to you. And you'll have unlimited range in an electric vehicle forever. And on a boat, remember, all those large, huge diesel engines, those are powering generators just for the electric engines that power all the ships moving cargo all around the world, just like trucks. What do? You just put this material onto the top of it, and you beam it right down to it. You could have a generator as a backup. You don't need it, because we can beam it right to you. I wrote this paper to do this for surface skin. It creates this surface material. Solar microwave fabric could actually create a force field around the airplane, which means it cannot be penetrated by missiles or bullets or anything. It would vaporize us. This is electromagnetic armor. You can't get better than that. Of course, you would always use AI to do things the best you can. Standard digital data is the only way we do things. I worked on the first CAD/CAM program in the world at Pontiac Faro. Look, it could take over 1 million years to solve this normal computation. Now we can do it in less than a couple minutes. It's amazing. The leaps and bounds that we could do now is just amazing. So back on CAD/CAM. So I worked on the Pontiac Faro with Edward Deming and GM. I love Donald Trump. Distance does matter. Yeah, so what we have is we have these power stars throughout all the different orbits, okay? Geo-orbit means it's not going to fall to Earth. The moon's in geo-orbit. These are your different beam-forming architectures, whether it be analog, passive, digital, fully digital, or now we can combine them into a hybrid of multiples. So that way you're not totally dependent on one or another. Now, the way we're looking at it is mostly like an analog type of method for transmitting electricity. And the frequency standard, and what we've seen already, they've already done it at 2.45 gigahertz from space to Earth. 5.8 gigahertz has been proven to even put out more. So this is your standard electronic directed energy weapon formulas. This is just standard. This is how you do the beam forming with retrodirective transfer of energy wirelessly. All these videos, I paste up 5, 6 videos. That way you can get educated on it. We've already know how to do this, and it's been done, and this is to educate you. This was done back at Texas A&M where Highland was looking at this huge power star, beaming it back and forth to Earth or between each other. So then these, look at this. One creates 200 megawatts or equivalent of 130 suns. It's that kind of power. And this is looking at it whether you want to use it to boost it to a higher orbit. Once it's in a higher orbit, because it's a radiation, photonic radiation, which allows it to go, it's a transmission or a method of propulsion in outer space, right? So you can't be falling in Leo. It doesn't work well, right? It'll just keep falling to Earth. Now, vaporizing all the threats of space debris. This is the best one we've seen so far of understanding where all the space debris are, okay? And you go to that site, you can find out. These are existing technologies, manufacturing, and capabilities. We already know how to do just about all of it. We just have to take it from the proof of concept, scientific level, which is patented already, and bring it to already functioning in space. So we need to do that. And these are the teams that I focused on that all should be involved in it. The government is one. I love Elon and his teams, and I love my Northrop, Boeing Millennium, and Raytheon. Raytheon invented radar, and they were the first ones to electronically transmit electricity. So they have to be involved because they're the best. They did it the first, so they should be. And even their weapons now do that, DEWs. So now, if we put them out throughout the universe, okay? If we put them throughout the universe, then we could use them as tracker beams. Between each satellite, we will transmit energy back and forth to the satellites, to each other, from both an Earth, around the moon, and around Mars. And then you power up all of Mars. You melt the ice on the poles, and you create an atmosphere at it. And because now this is his Mars base, this is easy to do with our power stars and his launch systems. Of course, these will be laying on their side now for easy ingress and egress. That way they can get in and out of it. Now, time travel. I've explained this very well in my God Kicks Satan's Butt video. It's too much to talk on this quick slide, but you put these throughout the universe, you can go faster than the entire universe can move, which means you can do time travel, teleportation. I call it a Earth Error Correction System. So that's the ultimate. Now, the James Webb Space Telescope got to see 13.5 billion years back, just a couple 100 million years from the true creation. There was no Big Bang. There was just a true creator, and it's still out there creating. It's out in the front. So, anyway, we put all these power stars all the way from here to there where we know where it's exactly located, and then we travel to it to see it. Of course, it'll never happen in our lifetime, but someday it can. So we send these for our own interstellar highway, and we have his starships that can have this material on it, and it could capture it, and we can beam him. And then with the tracker beams, we can push and pull. So we can take him from one spot to another spot without this liquid fuel in it, and you could electronically push and pull him to any orbit you want to Mars and back really fast, at close to the speed of light. So once you have the tracker beams and power stars up there, so that's how we do it, and that's how we win wars. This is the evolution. First we do the power wave solar fabric. I already have it. It's all, you can buy it. It was invented in America. Then Chinese usually get in and they steal it and they take it back to their home. They pay for the original evolution of it and the company, and then they can't sell it, and then they go broke, and then they bring it to China and they upgrade it, and they use it within their own community. So that's the games they play. So we got to build that, a peace palace. Thank God for Trump, Hegseth, and his fantastic team of leadership. I have an old team put together. Now we're building new teams. I love Stephen Kwan, Mike Coyote Smith, and my buddy Eric Prince. The good people with innovative thinking and really have the United States at heart.